You see, the destructive power of the female sexual conquest. We address men a whole lot about sexual behavior, sexual outcomes, sexual misconduct, but we don't society does not really allow for the discourse of the destructive nature of the female sexual conduct. Okay? The destructive nature of the female sexual conquest. Because we associate when a man gets with the woman, let's say he was pursuing her and he gets with her, that he's conquered her. You know, he wanted her and finally he's got what he wants. He's got another notch under the belt type of thing to add to his collection. Okay? So, but what we men talk about this, men that are able to run through women on a large scale are few, because for a man to find a woman attractive, we don't need very much as men. She got a cute face. Some guys that's good enough, even if she's a big girl. You know, she got a little shape. The right time, y'all drinking together. She's not very attractive. There it is. But the requirement for women is usually certain criterias. They have a far steeper criteria for men for them to sleep with them. So that a few guys that meet the criteria, they get easy access. So they can have notches upon notches upon notches. And some guys could have zero. Nothing. You know? They can have nothing. But when a man goes and pursues the women, and then the women will be quick to get online or TikTok or Instagram, whatever platform, and say, oh, he just wanted to conquer me and so forth. And it's true. Men do pursue women that they may not necessarily have a genuine relationship interest, but just because she's attractive, you recognize she's toxic. But just because she's attractive, you want to sleep with her. It's a thing. We know that it's a thing. We don't need to pretend. But the destructive uh, part of the female is that, actually, let me just extend the thought. On the man's side, the pursuit is to get the girl in bed, the lady in question. And usually, when that occurs, maybe he wants a repeat of the situation. And that's as far as it goes. He got what he wanted. That's it. It's a short term pleasure, depends on how long it lasted. That's as far as the pleasure goes. Okay. Now, the destructive nature of the sexual part of the female conquest is when they conquer a man sexually. When they conquer a man sexually, that will dominate him. A man's purpose will be derailed by coaching. And it's one of those things that if you ever read the Bible, there's warnings about that. Kings have fallen to the power of the coochie. Okay, nobles, noble people have fallen. Princes. You know, a man could be on a high ranking. It could be high ranking as far as society is concerned, but he'll bow down to peasants' coochie. That's why Walt Disney's storytelling of the Cinderella thing, it shows all the stories about any girl can be a princess, any girl can be a queen because the prince marries her. So even if the prince has got a castle, he's got people waiting on him, he's got all kinds of power and status that only comes to very, very few. A girl, just a girl in a little dress with her coochie, she can have access to that. Now, the part that we don't talk about, how many day-to-day men are trapped in the coochie. Classic example that's making its rounds around the internet is what's this young NFL player, Travis Hunter. Clearly, we can see that coochie was involved in that because there's no logical decisions being made. You just see a lot of emotionality, a lot of euphoria. There's nothing substantive that you can see that this girl. Matter of fact, you're just looking at her. You see, the girlfriend. You just see tattoos and everything. And from what I hear, shady past as far as stripping, allegedly. You know, but that's just to use a current example in the media on social media right now. But the destructive nature is that we talk about biblical characters such as King David. He got this man's woman, got the man killed. Coochie, destructive nature, a king who was able to make good judgment in battle, did that unthinkable to one of his army personnel. King Samson, the strongest man to ever live. You know the Bible story. Strong. Eventually, he got his eyes gouged because he told the secret about the hair because of coochie. The woman does not have to step up to a whole lot to be destructive in your life. She does not have to coerce you. Once you find her attractive, and if she strategically moves, if she's intentful, and a lot of women know about men's weaknesses. Of course, we know that's that, but they know that if you're, we even have the expression pussy whip. If you're pussy whip, a lot of men are gone. It don't matter about status. Remember back in the day, what's his name? Bill Clinton with Monica Lewinsky. We got names upon names upon names about misconduct because it's a trump card, and it's every girl can do it. Not every man can be successful as far as we deem success like high level status. Not every man can be that, but every girl that has looks can utilize her coaching for destructive purposes. And the society coaches are, hey, you can have his stuff, you can take his things, you can marry him even if you don't love him, and then you can walk away. Now, we have mentioned kings and nobilities and everything else, athletes. How many athletes are on child support because they could not, they were hit with the coochie, and now, you know, so that's that. But we don't talk about the day to day man that just felt like he fell in love. He met a woman, she gave him some, and he just got caught up in the days, you know, and because of that, maybe gave her a child. He acted out of line, and that's one of the biggest thing for a man to discipline himself against. So if men goes abstinent, he's winning, because regular guys, their purpose when they're broken can be derailed. Their depression, because most men do not really recover from heartbreaks the way women do. A woman, you're gonna be like, as soon as she's done with this one, she's already in a new relationship. She's posting, yay, new bag, whatever, trip, road trip, road trip. They move on so fast, they don't have time to reflect. But men, when we cut, because we usually very invested, because we're logical. Our love comes with logic. I'm liking this girl because she does this and this and this. I like her. I like she's cute, she's funny, and we're all in. I feel like girls sometimes it's almost like an experimental situation. Try out him like a type of flavor. I'll try lemon flavor, and then you're like, it's too intense. I'll go back to chocolate, or I'll go back to strawberry, and it feels like a lot of women. I've experienced a lot of women in my life, like family members, cousins, aunts, and everything else, who move on so rapidly, like it was not that deep. I've seen people walk away from marriages from a female standpoint and move on so rapidly, so rapidly. Matter of fact, we know that there was a study done. 50% of married women had a backup man. Over 50%. It was over 50%. They had a backup man. So that backup man is active there. But most men, when they in it, like coochie is got them. The rewiring of the brain is wired with that coochie. It's done. He's there. He's loyal. That's why when women say there's not a lot of good men, I say I go cap on that, because a lot of guys who are just basically we use the normal trades, electricians, plumbers, mechanics, guys like that. He's on his purpose. He goes to a work function. He meets a girl. He likes her. She gives it to him real good, and now his wired is gone. His DNA has been changed. When she walks away from that situation, because maybe she's used to optionalities, he's not. He's about his work. He doesn't have the time to be in the streets pursuing girls. But these days, a lot of girls can be in the streets because the streets are just everywhere. It's on their phone. It's readily available. They got exes and so forth. So then he's got his work, he's got his schedule, and now he's introduced this girl, and because she's doing all these things, she's well inserted into his life, and she studies him more than he studies her. So now I just gives it to him real good, because that's the thing a lot of women lead with. And then when his life is derailed, you find guys are drinking more, taking drugs and everything else. How many men have been derailed? That's what I'm talking about, the destructive nature of it. How many men's lives are on pause because of depression? Because she gave it to him good. That destructive nature. Sexual conquest. Guys sitting there broken in the, broken. Maybe some of them they've lost their homes, and she's on to the next. And she could move into your house and with the guy that she cheated with, and you're there nursing a broken heart. And some guys self delete, unfortunately. That's why suicide rates are high. Part of the reason, to be honest, you know. So the female nature tends to her sexual conquest are very destructive in nature. When she passes through, she's literally like a tornado. She would just like blizzard your home, everything to the ground. And then when she passes by, it's like it never happened. Men's love, a lot of guys don't recover from the deep cuts and the deep wounds that the women function with. And then, of course, women don't help the situation by gaslighting it. Oh, who hurt you? So there's an insensitivity aspect to it after you were very invested, especially from a sexual standpoint. Very invested, very caught up emotionally and spiritually, and especially when you're trying to improve her life. And then she comes out with a nonchalant. Women can complain about men being nonchalant, but when a woman is nonchalant and removed and cold, like you saw Tyrese crying. We all loved Tyrese, back then with the Coca-Cola ad, and then he was in the Fast and the Furious. He was singing with TGT and everything else. But the man started to cry over there. And did you see what the woman was like? His woman, very indifferent. Giving relationship advice. So it's important for us men to exercise sexual discipline. You can't always avoid these pitfalls of this women that put it down on you. But as we get older, we need to exercise better because that's distractive. And we need to talk more about it because the sexual imprint, we talk about sexual imprinting that happens on women, like, alpha widow and everything else. But when a man is done dirty from a sexual standpoint and she's moved on and he can watch her, especially if he invests, because most men do invest in women, it cuts. And oftentimes I think these are permanent scars that don't go away. Peace, love, and blessings.